So today we're going to talk about bringing those pigs home and some training stuff that you can do at the beginning. So at the very beginning, the first thing that you want to focus on is that bonding with that pig. So a lot of animals we don't worry about bonding very much because it's not as big of a deal. The animal is going to be comfortable where it's at and working as long as you have a system to them. But pigs have this tendency to either love or hate what's going on. And so you really want them to love being with you, love being out in the ring, and to really love what's happening. You will notice if you go to any pig show that's just common county fair level, you're going to see these two extremes. And one of them is going to be the pigs are going to be walking in the middle of the ring doing really well. And the other extreme is going to be the pigs on the rail screaming, trying to get out of that arena. Pigs are they have opinions and they make those opinions very known. The difference between those two different personalities is bonding. You want that pig to enjoy being with you. And that means the parent can't be the one to train that pig. The showman has to be the one to train that pig and get that pig where they want the pig to be. So bonding is really important. How do you bond with your pig? You lotion, you brush that pig, you spend a lot of time with that pig, especially at the beginning, and you just build up slowly. So let's talk about the first week. So the first week we have a lot of being in the pen with that pig, bonding with that pig, lotioning that pig, okay? The second thing that we have is taking that pig out for the first time. And when we take that pig out for the first time, we're going to be going slow. I'm sorry. I'm totally off track. The second thing is not taking the pig out of the pen yet. The second thing is introducing the whip. So when the pig is still in that pen, you introduce the whip and you just get them used to it. The whip needs to be, the key here is the whip needs to be not scary. I'm totally saying that wrong. The whip needs to be just a tool, something the pig is comfortable with. So use it in a way that is just an introduction to that pig, and you're not just freaking the pig out and going, ah, I never want to see the whip again, right? To bring that whip out, what I recommend is a dressage whip. So not a super short one, not a super long one that's kind of right in the middle. It has a little bit of flexibility to it because that flexibility really helps to give that pig, they feel like they have a little bit of control. If you use something blunt and hard, they're realizing that they're giving you all the control and you are making them do this thing, right? Whereas the flexibility is more of like, oh, I could do this or I could not do this, but I think I'll decide to do this. It's kind of, as I said, pigs are particular, and so we want them to think that it's their idea to listen to us and not our idea. So something with a little bit of flexibility, but not too flexible that it's like, oh, I can totally ignore this and I don't care, right? So we want that pig to be making the choice to listen to the whip, but we also don't want it to be, super easy for them to decide not to listen, right? So get a whip with a little bit of flexibility, but not too much. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to have that whip in the pen, and you're just going to, maybe you have a feed pan in there, maybe they're chewing on your shoes, you're just kind of with that pig and enjoying that pig, and you take the whip and you just kind of tap the very tip of their nose because that's where it's going to be a reaction, and you're just going to tip that nose and tap it a little bit harder and harder and harder until that pig gets a little bit annoyed and moves away from the whip. And then you stop, you brush that pig and you talk to that pig and you make him feel all happy about being with you. And then you do that again. Maybe they're at a different part of the pen and you're tapping them to go to another part. It's helpful to start out by them in a neutral place. Maybe they're just sitting there chewing on your shoes, and then you tap them away and you tap them towards maybe their food, something they like, something they enjoy. And so they're associating that whip with, oh, this is something I like. I'm being told to do something that I'm going to be happy doing once I do it. Okay, and so maybe the pig is a little bit hungry and they don't know that you set the feed pan down yet. Good luck having that, tricking your pig into that. But and maybe you have a treat that you set down in the pen and then you're guiding them to it. Or maybe you have the treat in your hand and when you turn them away, then you drop it in their path so that they realize when they listen to you, they are getting something positive. Now, this is something that is a beginner's pig, training tip. Treats and food are something that you don't use for very long. This is just to make the whip a friendly thing and not a scary thing. Once the pig is out of the pen, well, we can talk about that in a minute, but as you advance, you're going to take away some of those treats and things like that so that the pig isn't, I'll give you an example. So that if the pig, there was a girl who had a whip, and every time she turned the pig, he expected a treat every single time. And she was at fair with a big giant pig that was ready to go into the ring and be shown, and she would tap him on the nose, and he would turn around and look at her, go, "Where's my?" Basically, he wouldn't just keep on walking or do what she wanted him to do in the show because he was expecting his reward right then. So that reward is something we do at the beginning, kind of get our pigs comfortable and excited about being around us and being with us. It's not something that we continue on forever, okay? So that's kind of the reasoning for that. So we're spending time in the pen, we're in the pig's comfort zone, we've done some bonding, lotioning, all that stuff, and now we're introducing the whip. And the third thing is we take them out of the pen, out into the wild world that's scary. Maybe you have a fenced-in area you can walk them into. Maybe you have an area that is just somewhat enclosed, or maybe your property is enclosed, so it's okay. It doesn't really have to be completely enclosed if your pig is mostly friendly, right? And we shouldn't be taking them out if they're completely terrified anyways. That means we need to continue working with them in their pen, and we need to be spending more time because we need to get to that step soon, but we don't need to take them out of the pen when they're not ready. Does that make sense? So if you're not ready yet, really spend as much time as possible with that pig to get them there. If they are ready, let's take them out. Okay, so we're out of the pen. We are trying to get that pig away from his pen. This is their comfort zone. This is their happy place. And so getting them away from that pen is going to be somewhat scary. So you do want to be brushing them and talking to them and using your whip, because now the whip is associated with you and things that they recognize and are comfortable with, right? So the whip is now an association of comfort and things that are recognizable. And so using these different things is helpful to the pig. Maybe you can bring out food, you can do different things, but get them away from the pen. And then make sure that you have time when you do this, because your pig may, even if he's really friendly and calm, he may still panic, right? Or he may just be like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, and be very difficult. So even if he's, not panicking, you're probably going to have a little bit of a struggle. So have time and stay calm the entire time. So you're going to get him away from the pen, and then you're going to get him back. Okay? Those are the only two things you're really worried about. When you get him away, you're going to brush him, be happy, all these things, and then you're going to bring him back home. This is a short section. It will be a short session if the pig is comfortable with everything, but that's pretty unlikely. So just be ready to spend some time just getting them away and getting them back. It's going to be a little bit of a lesson. It's going to be a little bit of work. You're using that whip. Make sure you're using it right on the nose and not whacking the pig's face, because it's not going to do anything if it's not on their nose and they have a reason to be like, oh, I don't like that, right? So on their nose, around their eye area, not hitting them in the eye, but where they can see it, right? And so they're going, oh, I'm going to move away and go the direction they want. You'll notice a lot of pigs out here are going to be backing up. Try not to let them back up. Try not to use the whip too much if that's what's happening. And just work with them. Just read your pig and get to know them. You're the only one who can figure out how to get your pig to kind of bond and get comfortable with it. So every pig is different. You're just going to work with them. Just stay calm and spend the time until you can get them back in the pen. The next day, they go back out, they go back in. It's just a simple thing until you can kind of build up those next steps. All right, guys. These are huge steps. This is really fun stuff. These are the most fun parts of training that I have ever done, because you can see the biggest results in the shortest amount of time. That is, if you're really nailing down that time, you're really spending that time with those animals those first few weeks, and you're making a difference that you need to be making. So make that first week count, okay? All right, guys, if you guys are interested in more information on training pigs, check out my book, Show Your Way to the Top: How to Master Swine Showmanship and Impress a Unfair Judge.